Hello scrappers and planet lovers, Tin Man here with another video. So I just returned home from the dentist. I happened to drive through what appeared to be the tail end of bulk pickup week in one of the towns. Unfortunately, I did not have my camera with me, but I did have my truck, so I was able to pick up some pretty nice scrap materials. Gonna talk about those items. I do also have right in front of this camera here two very unusual items that I happened to find in a dumpster. So I just happened to look inside and there they were. So I'm going to talk about the metals that I have on these items, show you how to identify it, some of the prices that I have, and more importantly, divert as much of this load away from the landfill as possible. So going to start. I do want to apologize beforehand. It is very windy, so I am going to have to speak up, and I do apologize for some of the wind. But here we go. Going to start. I actually found two sinks. This one right here. Unfortunately, this porcelain or ceramic is going to be garbage, but you do see really nice pipes on there. These nuts are brass. I do also have right there the taps to it, and I can tell that that is coated brass. There is the gold glistening through that coated. So that brass right there is going to go for about $3.25 a pound in London, Ontario. These pipes here are coated copper, so these are actually going to be number 2 copper, and currently number 2 copper is going for $4.45 a pound. So great score there. The sink back there does have 2 plastic hoses, but you can see the brass nuts on there as well. There is copper pipe coming from the back as well. The bottom pipe there is also brass, so great score of brass. I was able to pick those off of the wooden cabinet, and I could leave those, the taps as well. Those ones are brass, so great scores there. I did also find right here an old style microwave. I love these wooden panel style ones. They are always loaded with a great copper transformer, very heavy. And I do want to say there are a lot of scrappers who no longer pick up modern microwaves because they believe that the transformers are now replaced with aluminum windings. And that is true, but microwaves are still a great item to pick up. They are one of the most common items I find. And even if those transformers are aluminum, you can still throw them into transformer weight for 7 cents a pound, or tin or shred price at 12 cents a pound. So you're still making money from that, as well as the whole outer shell and box is also tin. And there still is some copper inside. The magnetron has aluminum as well as copper. There is always a fan inside that has a little bit of copper winding. So they are something you don't want to pass up as well. That one does have the power cord to it. You can see there, that brown one. That right now is going for, at a scrapyard, what we classify as 40% appliance wire, and currently $1.35 a pound. So those appliance wires are also a great item to get. I do have right here one vacuum cleaner. Somebody did cut the cord off of it, but I still grab these because there is still going to be a motor inside of it. I can't tell just from looking at this if the motor is going to be copper windings or aluminum. Either way, it's still scrap value. There is also always going to be some appliance wire going down the neck. As well, you can see, put a magnet to this. This is actually aluminum, so this neck is going to have some scrap value as well as inside this little power head too. There's going to be 2 small copper bearing motors, as well as an armature that is copper. So I do collect those vacuum cleaners as well, even if the cord is off of it. You can see I did find right here a top part of a shop vac, had the cord still on it. There's going to be a really nice heavy copper motor inside of this as well that I need to remove once I take off the plastic top. That car part there, that I've already tested it with a magnet. It is magnetic, so it's going to be tin. There are some that you will find that are aluminum, but aluminum is non-magnetic, so that is going to be tin still. You can see right down here, I have several nice thick pipes, and I do want to address a question I had from a couple different viewers asking me the difference between tin and steel. So items like your outer shell of your microwaves, those are going to be tin or shred in certain spots. In order for something to be classified as steel, it has to be thicker than 1/4 inch. So those pipes are thicker than a 1/4 inch, but you do want to check with your load or your price, because tin shred is only about 2 to 3 cents less than steel. And if I only have a small load like this, I'm just going to throw it right into my tin pile. That way it saves me a trip to go across the yard to throw it into steel for a couple cents more. If this was an entire truck full of steel, then I'm definitely going to bring it to my steel and get that extra money. But it does depend on that. But that hopefully answers that question for people. It is all based on the thickness. There is also what we classify as magnetic stainless steel. It's a couple cents more than tin. That usually comes off of different things like appliances, you know, magnetic, very shiny stainless steel look. But again, if I only had a little bit of that as well, I'm just going to throw it into my tin. The last thing I have here, my 2 unusual pieces. Notice these 2 actually came out of a dumpster. This is a small, looks to be a baby scale. Unfortunately, this bucket is heavily worn and discolored, but the entire frame here is metal. Or tin, sorry, it is magnetic, I meant. You can see, so I am just gonna throw that right into my tin pile. Not sure actually if that scale works. I am gonna check to see if it does. There are options. If this was actually a nice looking bucket, didn't have a crack in it, I could look at reselling it. This is one of the weirdest items that I have here. The last thing, notice it does say on it urine. This is very, very heavy. You can see it has a nice magnetic shell to it, really nice appliance wire to it. Don't want to touch it too much with the reading urine on it without gloves, so I am going to put that off to the side, hose it down, and then I am actually gonna probably do an upcoming video on this, because I really am curious of what is inside of that. As I said, it is extremely heavy, so not only am I going to get great tin price for this, but inside of that, given there is some electronic parts, there is going to be probably a great transformer, some circuit boards that have different components on it. So I am going to actually save this for a video to show people, because it is an unusual piece, but I do want to clean it before I start taking it apart, and definitely before I start playing with the inside of this. So interesting items. Again, it just goes to show you, you never know where you're going to find scrap items. But all in all, definitely a great load here. Got some work to do to take the things apart, separate the metals. But again, looking forward to doing that, building up my brass and copper pile, and more importantly, diverting as much of this away from the landfill as possible. So hope you enjoyed that. Again, short video. I do apologize, I did not have my camera with me. I know I've had a number of people say they would like to see more scrapping videos, but again, I wasn't planning on scrapping today. Again, here it is. So hope you enjoyed that. Please comment down below, like, share, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one. Tin Man out.